You could hear the gunfire in the valley, but Malala never flinched. She was just a girl with a book bag and a voice that refused to shrink. In the rugged beauty of Pakistan's Swat Valley, where the mountains touch the sky and the rivers flow like poetry, lived a girl whose dreams were louder than bullets. Malala Yousafzai was born in 1997 in Mingora, a place known more for its natural beauty than for war. Her father, Jiauddin, ran a school. Education wasn't just a value in their home, it was sacred. She learned to read by the age of 4. By 12, she was already writing blog posts under a pseudonym, describing life under the growing shadow of the Taliban. And the shadow was spreading. The Taliban weren't just banning music and movies, they were banning girls from school. They blew up buildings, punished dissent, and tried to turn books into ashes. Fear took over villages like fog creeping through alleyways. Girls stayed home. Teachers whispered. Hope dimmed. But Malala? She didn't dim. She burned brighter. She walked to school in her uniform, past checkpoints and soldiers. She studied under candlelight when electricity failed. And when reporters asked what she wanted most, she didn't say toys or freedom or safety. She said, "I want every girl to go to school." That kind of bravery isn't loud. It's quiet. Determined. The kind that doesn't come from anger, but from purpose. And that purpose made her dangerous. The Taliban started watching her. She was no longer a nameless girl in a headscarf, she was giving speeches, writing articles, standing in front of cameras. A child who refused to bow. A threat wrapped in a school uniform. Until one afternoon in October 2012, they decided they'd had enough. She was 15. The day began like any other. Malala boarded her school bus with her friends, notebooks in her bag, dreams in her eyes. But halfway down the road, the bus jerked to a stop. 2 men stood in front of it. One had a gun. They climbed aboard, faces masked, hearts full of something colder than hate. One man asked, "Who is Malala?" No one spoke. But everyone looked. He raised the pistol and fired. One bullet hit Malala in the forehead, near her left eye. The other 2 struck her friends. Screams shattered the silence. Blood stained the seats. And in that moment, the world almost lost her. But Malala didn't die. She slipped into a coma, was airlifted to a military hospital, and eventually flown to Birmingham, England. She couldn't speak. Half her face was paralyzed. The bullet had grazed her brain. Doctors weren't sure she'd make it. But the same voice that once whispered stories under her blanket now screamed, "You're not done." She survived. Recovered. Relearned how to speak. And when she opened her mouth again, the world listened. Malala didn't return with vengeance. She returned with vision. She stood before the United Nations on her 16th birthday, just months after being shot, and said this. They thought that the bullets would silence us. But they failed. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born. She called for books. For pens. For classrooms where war once lived. For girls who still walked in the shadow of guns. Malala could have chosen silence. Safety. Anonymity. Instead, she chose the microphone. Malala Yousafzai became the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize at just 17 years old. But awards didn't matter to her. What mattered were the 130 million girls still out of school. She started the Malala Fund, met presidents and kings, and kept telling the story of the girl on the bus, not just hers, but the millions who never made it off. She returned to Pakistan years later, not as a victim, but as a symbol. Not to revisit her past, but to remind the world, I'm still here. And I'm not afraid. She studied at Oxford. Graduated. Kept writing, kept pushing, kept dreaming. Malala didn't become a hero because she was shot. She became a hero because she refused to shut up after. And if one unarmed schoolgirl could scare an entire regime, imagine what your voice could do.